Well, my name is Victoria Bloch. I'm a Weston Prize chapter leader. And up until about a year ago, I was working for the woman standing to my right, selling eggs and chicken at a farmer's market. And the lady to my right is
Sharon Palmer, and I'm a farmer in Santa Paula, California.
Who raises chicken
Who raises
and eggs.
So tell us your story.
I'm a farmer in Santa Paula, and I built a fabulous small goat dairy who was licensed by the California Department of Food and Agriculture and was ready to open up in December of 2008. And I was fully inspected and anxious and happy and ready to go. And December 18th of 2008, at 5 o'clock in the morning, we were raided by every agency you could possibly imagine. January 2009, we were raided again. June of 2010, we were raided again. August of 2011, raided again. So since the year 2008, my family farm has been raided, and I have been arrested 3 times for milking goats.
Why?
It seems as though in California, the California Department of Food and Agriculture is working along with the FDA, and they seem to have an issue with raw milk farmers. Licensed or unlicensed, they have a problem with raw milk farmers. And they just have a vendetta against all of us to try to put us out of business, not only in California, but across the country. So this is why we're in the situation that we're in.
I was leaving my house to go to my mom's apartment, and an officer stopped me halfway down the street, held out a badge, and said, as I got out of the car, "Do you know anything about Rawsome Foods?" And I said yes, but by then I was on the sidewalk, and a female detective was putting handcuffs on me and putting me into the back of an unmarked car, taking my purse and my car back to my husband, who was shocked in the front yard. And when he asked, "Where are you taking her?" they said, "Well, we don't really know yet." Since he grew up in a Latin American country, all he could think of was, they used to do this there. They used to disappear people, and now it's happening to my wife. And he was terrified. So I went to jail for a day and a half. I found that the charges that what I was being charged with was 3 felonies for selling raw milk that was unlicensed, that was unlabeled, and that might have been produced in unsanitary conditions. Because Sharon had a CSA, Community Supported Agriculture, private membership, and some of her members had asked her, because they knew that she provided goat's milk with a herd share agreement to Rawsome Foods, a private buying club in Venice. They knew that she did that for them. They said, "Can you bring some of your goat's milk to the farmer's market for us?" And there weren't many people that ordered it, but there were a few, and they were steady customers. And I was responsible for taking their orders by email, passing them up to the farm, and if they came to my booth at the farmer's market, I would hand the member their goat's milk. And that's what I got arrested for. And that's what Sharon got arrested for the same morning. And that's what James Stewart of Rawsome Foods got arrested for the same morning.
Victoria was arrested at her home. I was also arrested at my home. And unfortunately, this was no shock to our family, because this has now been the 3rd arrest and the 3rd raid on our farm. So again, handcuffed and put in jail in Ventura County. And it was a week and a half between the time that they arrested me and then shipped me to Los Angeles County to get out.
Jail all that time?
It was 5 days.
It was 5 days.
Oh.
It was 5 days in jail. This last time I was in jail for 30 days. Yes. Single mother, 3 kids, 4,000 animals on our farm, and just consistently been harassed since 2008 for farming and milking goats. And just so everyone knows, the case with Rawsome Foods and Victoria and I, Rawsome members consisted of about 1,200 members. This was a private food club, and the Rawsome members purchased 40 goats. They purchased equipment. They purchased their ice machine, and I was the caretaker of those goats. It was a herd share, and these people came up every week to pick up their own milk. So that is not illegal in the state of California. However, they have seemed to find a way to consistently harass small farmers with herd shares, people who own their own goats, or give them to a farmer to care for, and just take everything that they own. The farmer really loses everything.
It took over a year for us to come to our preliminary hearing. So normally you come to a preliminary hearing within weeks of when you're arrested, if not sooner. But because there were so many changes, the original DA that filed charges was taken off the case within a few weeks and replaced by a new DA. The original DA had generated so much discovery, over 80,000 to 100,000 pages of discovery in a year-long investigation that cost at least $1 million of taxpayer money to investigate two dairy outfits and one farmer's market worker. So, yeah. So they had new DAs that got on the case. They had to come up to speed, read all the discoveries. So we went to administrative hearing after administrative hearing. And finally, after 13 months, we came due for our preliminary hearing, at which point the DA really wanted to get out of it, but he couldn't get out of it without some meat. He had to give something because so much taxpayer money had been spent, and DAs don't win points for dismissing cases, especially when they've been expensive. So he offered at the night before we went to the prelim, he offered me a deal that was okay. And looking at the expense of what it would have cost me to go to trial, to get expert witnesses, everything that was going to start coming in, I don't have that kind of money. So I pled to a misdemeanor, paid a $100 fine, and I get summary probation, which is unsupervised probation, for 2 years. And that's basically it.
That's good because you're so dangerous. We need to have you,
Absolutely.
make sure that you're not doing something bad.
Right? I know.
I mean, you're a scary criminal.
Thank you. I've worked hard to develop this level of hostility. Yes.
The following day, when we were in court, they offered me a misdemeanor. You have to understand the charges against all of us. There were in excess of 27 counts, felonies. It was an extensive case, and basically, Victoria and I, we both decided at the end of the day, it's stress, it's financial, it's a lot. To take a misdemeanor and make it all go away and go back to our families, it was well worth it. It's a shame because it's a lot of taxpayer dollars chasing people who just want to drink milk at the end of the day. Yes.
Well, it's a shame because what we really wanted was to go to a full trial by jury and be vindicated, because we knew that if we had gone before a jury of our peers, we absolutely would have, every charge would have been dismissed, just like it was with Alvin Schlangen in Michigan and so on. So we knew that would have happened. But it waited so long that the cost became prohibitive. And it was. The stress for our family, the stress on my husband, there was a lot that went on during that year. And it was time. And then Sharon with her children, and just the negativity that surrounds that. So not our first choice, but we're grateful that we were offered something that was as low key as that at least we can live with, and we get to still vote.
Right. Oh, yeah, good.
For my children and my family, it's been pretty traumatic. I mean, farming is hard. It's a lot of work. It's constant work. You can never leave, especially when you have livestock. And for them to see the quote-unquote justice system come down on somebody who works so hard and produces food, I don't even think they've, still to this day, don't understand. They don't understand. They can't comprehend it. I mean, their thought is, Mom, why do we farm? Why do we work so hard when you're going to go to jail? And it's really challenging. They're teenagers now, and I think they're starting to learn a little bit more about bureaucracy, which is a hard lesson because you don't want your children to look down upon the people that are supposed to help you. You don't want your children to look down upon law enforcement or the court system. But when they see it in action and they saw actually what it is, I can only wonder how my children are going to grow up with this lesson.